Oh, please, give me a break. Hello, my royal lovelies. Welcome back to the channel. And as always, welcome to my home and also my sick bed. I'm not feeling very well. I'll tell you all about it towards the end of the video. But let's just get straight stuck into Meghan. I've come out of my sick bed, crawled downstairs to make this video. So Meghan has stepped out again without Prince Harry for the second time in a week. Oh, lucky us, lucky us. I jest. As she tells teenage girls, get ready for it. Get the violins out. I can hear the violin string playing. She tells them that she's one of the most bullied people in the world. Yes, Meghan, the most bullied person in the world. Ugh. I'm scoffing. I really am scoffing. So, as we know, from multiple occasions, that Meghan has previously opened up about bullying and abuse on social media during her pregnancies. But she told young girls that she was one of the most bullied people in the world as she stepped out solo for the second time in a week. Well, I thought she'd have learned a lesson from the first time because that did not go down very well. So she visited the Girls Inc. of Greater Santa Barbara on October the 2nd to talk about a new digital wellness programme co-funded by the Sussexes Archewell Foundation. Well, of course, there's something in it for her. Do I believe that anything that goes through Archewell is actually for the good of the people that it's supposed to support? No, I don't. I think there's too much murky waters, especially with the accounting. Is it registered in... Am I right in saying it's Delaware? Delaware is the state where you can be a lot more secretive with the accounting because of their sort of laws and regulations and things. So, of course, it's registered over there. And one does wonder that the money donated to Archewell, that, I'm sure, the majority of it might be given, in good faith by people that they've suckered in. But, we also know that there are some dodgy donations as well. And I do think that some of this money must get siphoned off. Anyway, at the event, Meghan told the tweens, I hate that word, tweens, I think it's, gives me the ick, almost gives me the ick as much as Meghan, that she was one of the most bullied people in the world. Meghan, if you say it so often, people will start to believe you. False. I don't believe that. I think that's what she believes. I think her strategy is that the more and more she says it, the more and more she gets friends to comment on it, using words to that effect, that it will become almost a truth. And the one thing that we do know is that opinion is not truth. Even if it's an opinion about yourself that you are trying to put out into the world, she can't manifest this, is what I'm trying to say. So one of the most bullied people in the world, as they used emojis, past the sick bucket, to describe how different online scenarios would impact them emotionally. Girls Inc., an American non-profit organisation which encourages girls to be strong, smart and bold. Well, I don't have anything against that. I mean, I think anybody should be strong, smart and bold. Has partnered up with #HalfTheStory, a non-profit dedicated to improving the next generation's relationship with technology, to launch the programme across the states. Now, of course, the thing that we know the Sussexes have in their craw, one of their major gripes with the whole Megxit scenario, the royal family, the press, is that they don't have control over it. And I think this is what they mean by having like a healthy relationship in the future with social media and blah, 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 and the press, is that they want control. They believe that as long as you have control of the narrative, then it's perfectly fine. They don't like anybody else having an opinion about them if it's something that they deem is not favourable to them. So I think it's a little bit wrong of Meghan to kind of be putting out there to these young people that really, because people don't have that level of control, and what Meghan is probably not telling them is that the reason why people have these thoughts and these feelings and they express their views about Harry and Meghan is because directly what Harry and Meghan have said and done and put out there in the public in the first place. So, the media's reaction to Harry and Meghan, people on social media's reaction to Harry and Meghan, my own reaction to Harry and Meghan is based upon what they put out there. It's not just invented, is it? And Harry and Meghan, through their various, I suppose, assaults on the royal family, Spare, Netflix, Oprah, have actually confirmed, really, that a lot of the stories that were put out there by the press did in fact have at least some basis in truth. We still don't know exactly where the truth falls because, of course, we haven't had the other side of the story. The royal family has kept a very dignified silence as much as they can do. We've had a few little rebuttals through palace sources and friends of William and Catherine and well-placed sources, but largely the royal family have not had their comeback. They've not had their say, and they have maintained a level of dignified silence. So Meghan doing this, with about cyberbullying and blah, 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 falls a little bit flat. And also, she probably hasn't pointed out the amount of actual, real bullying that she has done to other people. Those reports of her bullying staff still have not gone away. In fact, they've got stronger. And, just because you are seen to be partnering yourself or positioning yourself with anti-bullying charities is all to deflect. You can tell I'm not well, my lovies. I'm getting my words all muddled up. Its sole purpose is to deflect from the fact that she is a big old bully herself. It's a case of the lady doth protest too much. And I use the terminology lady because Meghan Markle is no lady. Well, not in the classy sense of the word lady. Anyway, so it's all self-inflicted. I think partnering with anti-bullying charities is just a mask. It's a screen to deflect away from her own bullying scandals. And it's her attempt to shape and set the narrative, which most people by now, I think, have woken up to. So the report carries on that this marks the second time without Harry. Again, do I think this is a mistake for Harry and Meghan? Looking at it from their own PR perspective, if I was their PR person, I certainly don't want to give Harry and Meghan advice, but I don't think this is working because on the occasions that we have seen Meghan out and about by herself, not so much Harry, because I still think Harry looked so much happier without Meghan. I know some people disagree with that, but my own personal feeling is that Harry looked so much happier and healthier without Meghan. But the same cannot be said for Meghan. I think the opposite is in play. She looked dishevelled. She looked a mess. Of course she looked, wrinkled, baggy clothes, but it was not transpiring. It's definitely not what she wanted to put out there. Let's put it that way. So there are photos, and I will pop those up, of the engagement. I think it is just completely falling flat on its face, and I can't believe that she got up and did this straight away after the epic failure of the red dress. Someone spoke to People magazine, I do believe, that, and I quote, "It's clear that a twin track approach is evolving." Well, I don't think it's evolving very well, do you? And Larissa May, the founder of Half the Story, took part in the event and said, "We did an activity where we talked through a bunch of scenarios, and Meghan talked about being one of the most bullied people in the world." And of course, she said that to Vanity Fair. "We had girls wave these little emoji signs and talk about how each one of these scenarios would have impacted them emotionally. Oh, and can we take a moment to look at Meghan's trousers? I mean, my goodness. I said it last time and I'll say it again. Can someone just send her a steamer or an iron or something? that is shocking. I mean, it doesn't even look like, it's not even like out of the packet creases. You know, everyone's done it, haven't they? Where you buy something off Amazon or something comes in on an online order and it's got, you know, it's got the crisscross creases and you can't be bothered to iron, so you just stick it on anyway and you hope for the best. But that isn't even that. That is like bottom of the washing laundry bag and she just yanked it out and put it on. That is wrinkled as anything. And of course she knows she's going to be photographed and she knows what people are going to be saying about her wrinkled baggy clothes. It's just absolutely horrendous. And she loves a shirt, doesn't she? She loves a sort of, you know, man style type shirt. And her hair is down again. I read one person's comment that, you know, the hair down look, 'cause normally when she goes on, like, you know, red carpet type events, she has her hair up in a chignon or something, and then she had her hair down like strangled, bedraggled rat's tails. Is that a way of sort of separating herself out from her past and, you know, what she's trying to push out there now? Is she trying to look maidenly? Are those flares? I think they're also flares. And those brown suede shoes. She looks a mess. She does actually look a mess. In fact, I can't bear to look at those wrinkled baggy clothes a moment longer. So please do tell me what you think about what Meghan said. Do you agree with all the things that I've, you know, said about that? I've decided to keep this video quite short because I really am not feeling very well, my lovies. But so I'm not going to talk anything more about Harry and Meghan. I'm done for today with them. I can't stomach them a moment longer. So we'll let that marinate and I'll talk about whatever comes up in the next video. But I do want to talk about some of the other royals, including King Charles and Queen Camilla. So the Australia visit is still going ahead. And this was announced, I think, last week. I didn't get around to talking about it. But King Charles, for the 11 days that he's away, I do believe it's 11 days, is going to pause his cancer treatment. So I just thought I'd comment because we didn't really know exactly what type of cancer treatment he was having. Nothing's been officially revealed. We don't even know what type of cancer he's actually had. Many people are speculating. But the one thing I think that we can probably rule out is that maybe he's not on tablet cancer treatment. Now, there might be people that know a lot more about this than me, but my assumption is that if he was on tablet form cancer treatment, that you could actually take those with you. They are portable, so he could carry on. Unless, of course, when he takes them, they knock him around a bit, and therefore, if he did take them while he was away, he wouldn't be able to perform the engagements because he might not be feeling very well on certain days. But anyway, his doctors, that's just a thought. But his doctors have agreed that the 11 days away and that pause is going to be okay for him to do. So I think that's important to remember because, you know, we don't want him, we want to see him out and about on a tour such as this. And I think it is very, very important for relations. But at the same time, we want him to take care of himself and we want him to get better. King Charles has also replied to pro-republic organisations that operate in Australia who requested, I think, a meeting with King Charles while he's over there. And he basically turned around and said, look, whether or not Australia becomes, it's not independent because Australia is and has been independent for a very, very, very long time. What I mean is, if they wish to kick the monarchy out, so to speak, and replace King Charles or the sovereign as a head of state, then basically King Charles said, that is political, that is up to the people of Australia. If ever they have a vote in the future, that's entirely up to them. So I thought that was important to note because, he's just addressed it face on. There's no big horror going into it. If he does meet with them, I think he'll say exactly words to that effect. And I think that if he carries on with the line that he's taking that, you know, it's a matter for Australians to decide about the Australian future, then he's probably going to win more people over, because he's not turning around and saying, oh, no, you know, you must retain the monarchy, blah, blah, blah. And another thing that, you know, people often don't think about is that when a country shares a monarch with other countries, the monarch is no more the monarch of any other country, even if they don't live in that country, than what they are of the country that they're sovereign of. Does that make any kind of sense? What I'm trying to say is King Charles is no more the sovereign of the United Kingdom as what he is Australia. They're both equal. If you imagine like a what's it called? My brain is not functioning today. You know, if you can imagine what's it called? Like a line of succession chart, where you've got the sovereign at the top, and then you've got directly below all the countries that they are sovereign of. They're all on the same level. Just because, you know, he's not resident of Australia doesn't mean he's not exactly the same, you know, sovereign as what he is of Great Britain. I digress, my lovies. He's going over, he's pausing his treatment. The doctors have thought it's okay. There's also going to be a state visit confirmed as well, coming over. I think a Middle Eastern state visit coming to the UK. It was 3 days ago, the Duke of Kent's birthday, and there were 3 pipers from the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. I do love bagpipers. It's one of my favourite musical instruments. So he was 89. So happy birthday to him. I hope he had a fabulous time. And of course, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh have been in Malta to mark the 60th anniversary of the country's independence. Their Royal Highnesses commemorated the bravery of the people of Malta during the Second World War, casting a reef into Valletta Harbour, which suffered relentless aerial attacks by the Luftwaffe and the Italian Air Force. And in 1942, at the height of these attacks, King George VI awarded the George Cross to the Maltese population, the whole population, in recognition of their resistance, endurance and loyalty. And there was a series of engagements, so I'll pop a few photographs up of those as well. Right, I'm going to go. I will explain why I'm feeling ill. So for the past week or so, I've had shortness of breath, and then I've just found out, because I had a text from a friend who I spent 2 hours with prior to feeling ill, and she was diagnosed with having a chest infection, and she was on a course of antibiotics. So my partner Matt also has the same symptoms, started a couple of days after me. So we made the connection that she had it first, passed it on to me, then I passed it on to Matt. So we phoned the doctor, and we are now on a course of antibiotics. So I'm not feeling very well. But anyway, I must carry on regardless. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share it on social media. And of course, do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, until next time, mwah, to you all my lovies. Stay safe and goodbye.